Let's pause for a moment and consider something profoundly simple yet endlessly powerful. Everything you seek in life begins in the mind before it ever materializes in the world around you. Every great invention, every thriving business, every remarkable achievement started as nothing more than a thought, a seed planted in the imagination of someone who dared to believe it was possible. But here's the crucial difference between those who achieve and those who merely dream. Achievers don't just think about success, they assume it. They carry themselves as though the outcome is already guaranteed. They live in the energy of their vision long before the world can see it. This is what I call the power of assumption. It's a psychological and spiritual principle rolled into one. When you act as if you've already achieved the goal, you step into the role of the person you need to become in order to make it happen. You stop approaching life from a place of lack, constantly wishing, hoping, or waiting, and you start operating from a place of possession. Your mind says, "It's mine, it's only a matter of time before the rest of the world catches up." And what's fascinating is how quickly reality begins to rearrange itself to match that inner certainty. People feel it when you walk into a room. They notice the quiet confidence, the self-assured tone, the decisiveness in the way you speak and move. Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, doors open that were once closed. It almost looks like luck from the outside, but it isn't luck at all, it's alignment. You see, when you assume success, your brain stops sabotaging you with doubt and hesitation. It starts looking for evidence to support the belief that you've already won. Psychologists call this the reticular activating system. It filters information so you notice what you believe is important. When you assume success, you begin seeing possibilities you would have missed otherwise because your mind is tuned to opportunity, not defeat. Think about it. If you walk through life expecting rejection, you'll subconsciously act in ways that bring rejection. You'll hesitate, you'll undersell yourself, you'll retreat at the first sign of difficulty. But if you assume victory, you'll persist longer, speak with more conviction, and carry yourself with a sense of inevitability that makes others believe in you too. So the question becomes, how do you cultivate this assumption? It starts with imagination. Take time each day to visualize your goal as already accomplished. Feel the emotions of having it now, the pride, the freedom, the gratitude. Then carry that feeling into your actions. Make decisions as the future you would make them. Speak the way that version of you would speak. Live today as though tomorrow's success is already written. Because here's the truth, the world doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards those who act from a place of certainty. When you assume the win, you make the win inevitable. Confidence is one of the rarest currencies in the world, and yet it costs nothing to create. Most people believe confidence comes only after achievement, that you must first have success before you can walk, speak, and think like someone who has it. But that belief keeps countless people trapped because the world rarely gives you confidence first. Life demands that you demonstrate belief before it gives you proof. If you study those who rise to the top in any field, you'll notice something almost paradoxical. They carry themselves with a sense of certainty long before the evidence around them seems to justify it. They speak boldly about ideas that don't yet exist. They take risks when others hesitate. They carry an energy that says, "I already know where I'm going," even when the path isn't fully clear, and that is why doors open for them. People trust certainty. People follow those who appear to know where they're headed, even if they don't have all the answers yet. Now here's the problem. Most people wait for external circumstances to give them permission to feel confident. They think, when I get the job, then I'll feel secure. When I make the money, then I'll believe in myself. When I'm recognized, then I'll speak with authority. But life doesn't work that way. If you wait for circumstances to grant you confidence, you will wait forever. The order must be reversed: confidence first, circumstances second, and I'm not talking about arrogance or empty bravado. True confidence is quieter than that. It doesn't need to boast because it isn't insecure. It comes from a deep inner decision that says, I will back myself completely. I will carry myself with dignity, even when the world hasn't yet seen my worth. Here's the interesting part. When you begin to show up with that kind of self-assurance, the world mirrors it back to you. Opportunities flow toward confidence the way water flows downhill. People sense it. It shows in your posture, in the way you shake someone's hand, in the way you present an idea. Confidence speaks before words ever leave your mouth. And the fastest way to build it: act like the person you want to become right now, dress the part, speak with conviction, not hesitation, make decisions as though you can be trusted to handle the outcome. Because you can. Every step taken in confidence compounds. It trains your mind to believe, I can rely on myself. I will find a way forward. The truth is simple. Your circumstances will never rise higher than your belief in yourself. Confidence is the soil in which success grows. Plant it first, and the results will follow. There is a profound truth about human nature that most people overlook. Your behavior doesn't just express who you are, it shapes who you become. Every action you take writes a message into your own mind about what you believe is possible for you. And over time, those messages harden into identity. If you constantly hesitate, talk yourself out of opportunities, and shrink from challenges, your mind quietly learns to believe, I am someone who plays small. I am someone who stops at the first obstacle. And eventually, your results mirror that belief. Not because you lack talent or intelligence, but because your behavior has trained your mind to expect failure rather than achievement. On the other hand, when you begin to act like the person you want to be, even before you feel ready, you send a very different message to yourself. Each time you take decisive action, each time you show up fully, each time you refuse to retreat in the face of difficulty, your mind starts to believe, I am someone who follows through. I am someone who persists. I am someone who wins. Psychologists call this the principle of self-perception. We come to know ourselves not just by looking inward, but by observing what we do. Your actions become the evidence your mind uses to form your identity. This is why acting as if you've already achieved success is so powerful. Because when your behavior changes, your beliefs begin to catch up. Think of it like this. You don't wait until you feel confident to speak with confidence. You speak with confidence first, and then the feeling begins to take root. You don't wait until you feel like a leader to start making bold decisions. You start making them, and your mind begins to accept, this is who I am now. This is why every achievement begins long before the results are visible. It begins the moment you align your behavior with the identity you want to embody, not tomorrow, not when life feels easier, right now. People often misunderstand this and think it means pretending or faking, but this isn't about deception. It's about training your own subconscious mind. The human brain loves consistency. It doesn't want to believe one thing and see you doing another. So, when your actions and identity begin to align, even before the world sees, proof your brain works overtime to close the gap between who you are and who you believe yourself to be. And here is the secret that changes everything. Belief is not a prerequisite for action. Action is the pathway to belief. The moment you act differently, you begin to believe differently. So, act boldly. Move as though you already are the person you aspire to be. Because each choice you make carves the future version of yourself into reality. There is a common trap that so many people fall into. They have a vision in their minds, a dream they hold close to their hearts, yet their daily actions tell an entirely different story. They want success, but they spend their time like someone preparing for mediocrity. They want freedom, yet they stay chained to habits that keep them exactly where they are, and then they wonder why their lives never rise to meet their desires. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. The future you want will only come when your actions today match the reality you claim to seek. Alignment is everything. It is not enough to simply wish for a better life. You must behave as though that life is already yours, and that means making choices that reflect where you want to go, not where you've been. When you align your actions with your vision, you send a powerful signal to your own subconscious mind and to the world around you. You are declaring, I am serious about this. I am not waiting for permission. I am already living as the person who belongs to the future I see. That shift changes how you spend your time, who you associate with, how you invest your energy. Consider this. If you truly believed your dream business would succeed, would you waste hours scrolling through distractions? If you truly believed you were capable of financial freedom, would you spend recklessly or would you study wealth like a craft? If you truly believed you were destined to be a leader in your field, would you stay quiet when opportunities to speak and contribute arise? Every choice you make is either moving you closer to the life you want or keeping you trapped in the one you say you want to leave behind. There is no neutral ground. Your daily habits, your conversations, even the way you carry yourself, these are all votes cast for the person you are becoming. And here's the secret few people realize. When your actions and your vision finally align, momentum builds. At first, it feels like nothing is changing. Progress seems invisible, but little by little, life starts to shift. Opportunities appear, skills compound, people begin to see you differently, not because they have changed, but because you have. This is why discipline matters so deeply. Not the kind of discipline that feels like punishment, but the kind that comes from clarity. When you know what you want and you act in harmony with that desire, discipline stops feeling like sacrifice. It becomes self-respect. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Align your actions with your vision now. Because the future you want will only reveal itself when your present behavior proves you're ready to live it. There is a subtle but undeniable connection between the words you speak and the reality you create. Most people underestimate this power. They talk carelessly, as if words vanish the moment they leave the tongue, but words don't vanish. They echo inwardly in the mind that spoke them, shaping attitudes, reinforcing beliefs, and directing behavior. Every time you speak, you are either affirming possibility or giving strength to limitation. People who achieve at the highest levels understand this instinctively. Listen to them closely and you will notice something remarkable. They speak with certainty, even about goals that have not yet materialized. They talk in terms of when rather than if. They use language that assumes success, progress, growth. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. They have trained their words to match the reality they are building. Contrast this with the way most people talk about their ambitions. They say things like, I hope one day things work out, or maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get there. Do you feel the uncertainty in those words? That hesitation seeps into the subconscious. It programs the mind to expect delay, to expect struggle, to expect failure as the default outcome, and the subconscious, obedient as it is, begins shaping behavior to match that expectation. This is why you must guard your words carefully. The language of achievement is precise. It leaves no room for self-doubt to take root. When you speak about your goals, speak with clarity and intention. Say, I am building this business. Say, I am becoming a person of discipline. Say, this is the life I am creating. Your words should describe the future as if it were already unfolding, because in a very real way, they are planting its seeds. And this goes beyond just talking about goals. The language of achievement also governs how you speak about yourself in daily life. Never belittle yourself, even in humor. Never speak as if you are powerless or unlucky or destined for mediocrity. Your mind doesn't know the difference between a joke and a confession. It believes what you repeatedly tell it. This doesn't mean walking around making empty declarations. It means using language as a tool to focus your energy and attention on what you want to grow. The more you speak in alignment with your vision, the more your mind begins to accept it as inevitable. And when the mind believes something deeply enough, it will move mountains to make it real. So choose your words wisely. Speak with certainty. Speak with direction. Because every sentence you utter is either building the life you want or reinforcing the one you're trying to leave behind. At the center of every great achievement, behind the skill, the strategy, and the tireless work, there is always one invisible force holding it all together: faith. Not the kind that sits idly, waiting for life to change, but the kind that burns quietly and persistently, even when the evidence around you seems to say otherwise. It is faith that gives you the courage to keep moving forward when logic tells you to stop. It is faith that carries you through rejection, through setbacks, through the long nights when nothing seems to be working. Without it, ambition collapses under the weight of temporary failure, because make no mistake, failure will come. Obstacles will appear, life will test you again and again, asking, how badly do you want this? How deeply do you believe in it? And the only thing that will keep you in the game when others quit is the quiet conviction that what you seek is already yours in spirit, even if the world hasn't caught up yet. This kind of faith isn't blind. It doesn't ignore reality. Instead, it sees beyond it. It looks at the circumstances of today and says, these are temporary. They are not the final word on my future. It gives you the courage to act decisively because you trust that each step, even the ones that feel uncertain, is leading somewhere meaningful. The greatest danger most people face is not failure. It's losing faith when success takes longer than they expected. They start with excitement, with enthusiasm, but when the first wave of difficulties hits, they begin to doubt. They retreat. They tell themselves, maybe it wasn't meant to be, but that's not true. The dream didn't fail. Their faith did. You must protect your faith the way you would protect your most valuable possession. Feed it daily with vision, with action, with reminders of why you started. Surround yourself with voices that encourage it, not those that try to crush it under the weight of their own fears. Faith grows when you stay close to possibility and starve the influences that breed doubt. And here's the paradox. The moment you develop unshakable faith, setbacks stop feeling like threats. You see them differently. They become lessons, teachers, even necessary steps on the path forward. Because when you believe deeply enough, no single moment defines you. The story isn't over until you decide it is. So hold on to it, guard it, strengthen it, because faith is the bridge between the person you are today and the future you are building. Lose it and the bridge collapses. Keep it and there is nothing. No obstacle, no rejection, no failure. That can stop you from crossing to the other side.